right, welcome. We have a hot topic today. It's hot.
Are you trying to
All right.
show up a certain way? Greetings, good morning from Florianopolis.
Are you trying to show up a certain way?
Yes, at service. Welcome. We're here in Florianopolis in Brazil still. Do the morning ritual.
Yeah, they know that. We do that every day. Hey, Anthony, our editor for our podcast, just cut all that stuff before that out. And we're going to begin again.
Cut out everything that Michael says.
So, this morning, you and I were talking about men in relationship. And on Sunday, I got together with several of the women who've been to my eye stands before. And we were talking about the challenges they have with the men in their life right now. And one was talking about a husband. She was like on the brink of divorce. And I've talked to her for years. And she just feels like my man is not stepping up. Like he's not even doing the little things. Not showing up. Just like...
What do you mean the little things? Or what did she say?
He's self-employed. He's an entrepreneur, but he's not collecting the money that's owed to him. He's not showing up on time to things. He's not just taking care of his business in little ways and big ways. It's just, and then his son, her stepson, is, she described him, like a tyrant, no good, whatever. He's a teenager. And takes no responsibility and is totally disrespectful and thinks the world revolves around him. And there was a common theme in the group. And one thing I brought to them is in defense of these men.
What was the common theme in the group?
Is their complaints about the men in their world not being great. And then the conflicts that result as a result of their men not being great. And what I brought to them was the world that men are invited to live in these times, in this modern age, is one where there's no real call to adventure for most men. And men need an adventure to live. There's no real battles to fight that really have him feel like he's risking everything on the battlefield for his people. And men need a battle to fight. And there's often no beauty to rescue because the women in their lives, they don't need men. They got this.
They don't need rescuing.
They're already making a lot of money. They're independent. They're... and they show up as if they don't need a man, oftentimes. And men need a beauty to rescue. It's just part of that call to a hero. It's part of who we want to be as a man. And we need those calls. And we need, there's a reason to fucking show up great. And men also need warrior brothers to have their back, to challenge them, to fight alongside them, to inspire and challenge them to be great. And often in our modern world, we've lost those all-male spaces where men can be men with each other, bump against each other, and take out all the angst of trying to be civilized most of the time, and just act completely uncivilized, but also challenge each other, push each other around, call each other to be great. And men are missing all four of these vital components. And I would say also a call to honor, which is, it's involved in all of those, but...
Well, what we've seen is indeed that it was, like before, it was provided for them in a way by the system or society, whatever, They were real enemies, There was war, and so you got a battle to fight.
Yes.
They were given adventures, and they were given beauties to rescue just by virtue or just by being part of of society.
Well, survival wasn't guaranteed, right?
Yes.
You've got, it was pretty brutal.
It was given.
Human existence, most of our existence going back forever, men had a really vital, important, honorable, respected, priceless role to play. And it's not that way anymore.
Yeah.
Men are often shamed, humiliated, and the adventure that we're expecting them to play is just do your job. Just be a good husband. Just be a good father. Just be not bad. Just don't be bad. Be civilized. Be a good student. Just be good. And there is no call to the wild man inside of that. There's no call to the warrior. There's no call to the hero. It's such a low barrier. And so inside of relationship, and this was my invitation to women, is just a reminder, like, this is a guy who his whole physical, psychological being has been designed through millennia to deal with a world, a wild world, where he has to survive and protect and provide for his people in the face of really challenging circumstances. And here he is with this blasé, comfortable world. And and what I said to them is, you don't want the battle that he's fighting to be against you, right? How you interact with him, how you show up with him, it could turn out that you're the biggest and best battle he has to fight. Is that what you want? Because he needs a battle to fight. Right? Do you want the adventure he's on, like the biggest adventure he's on, to be whether he took out the trash and paid the bills and, whatever the complaints are inside of the relationship? Did he, And, so now, partly there's a invitation to the women in the relationship. How they show up with him can give him this call to honor and this call to be a great man. And women have a lot of power there. They have a lot of ability to make a huge impact in how they see him. But there's only so much they can do, because the man needs to be on his own adventure.
Right.
He needs to go for it. And that means he needs to fucking go for it in the face of whatever conflicts it might bring up with his woman. And so many men today have been conditioned and trained to be the good guy, that all adventure is gone from their life.
Well, imagine that is the battle, because maybe our battle is not given to us anymore. Maybe adventure is not clear anymore. Maybe the beauty, the rescue is not apparent anymore. It's not given to us anymore. But maybe this is all like a blessing in disguise. Because imagine that is the battle. The being bogged down into goodness, into mediocrity, stagnation, Imagine that you can wake up to the idea that is the battle. That battle for meaning, My fight for a battle, that's the battle.
Yes.
The adventure, me looking for adventure, that's the adventure.
Yes.
And that's where the beauty resides too. And so I agree. I agree that if men have it bad in a certain situation, women have it a lot worse. Because there's only so much they can do. If they're the ones doing it for the man, they lose the respect. It just never works. It's like when she goes to a dance, she gotta hope that a good man comes and invites her to dance. She can't go around and invite guys to dance.
These days she can.
Yeah, but it's counter. It's against the feminine.
Yes.
She can't go lead the dance and say this is how you do it.
Well, and if she does, he doesn't have to go over there, right? He doesn't have to.
Yes.
His call to adventure is gone.
And this happens all the time.
Yes.
Women are so strong in relationships because they have to.
Yes.
Because the men are not doing it, you know?
And you know, if the man doesn't have something greater,
Yes.
like much greater, beyond the relationship that he's called to, then his biggest adventure is going to be
Yes.
being her idea of what a good enough man is.
But
A husband, whatever.
Imagine the opportunity that men today have, you know, not being given a battle to fight, not being given an adventure, not being given, but to have the opportunity to create all of that for yourself. Because that's what we have nowadays more than ever.
Yes.
We have the freedom, you know, we have the liberty to create a battle, to create an adventure. It's all open. You can create it, and that's why, to me also, it's always first and foremost a call to men, because they're the ones who can shift it around more than anyone else. Yes. They can take charge. They can lead it into glory. And so they've been given the greatest liberty of creating that battle, that adventure, and that beauty, you know? So it's for us to step up first.
In a way, it's a great opportunity, like you're saying. In a way, it's a great tragedy. It's a great tragedy that we are raising boys and young men in a society where many of them do not have elders that they look up to, that they respect. And I mentioned the woman earlier with the husband and the teenage son. And I said that, yeah, he's disrespectful and he's not honoring your authority or his father's authority because he doesn't want to be like you. And he doesn't want to be like his father. And he doesn't respect your authority because of that.
Right.
And I talked about, and it's a good thing that he's rejecting false authority.
Right.
If he does not feel that you're speaking to his heart, that you really have him in your heart, then he should say no. And good for him. This is something good for him to learn. But he also needs elders in his world who do inspire him, who he does respect, who he feels with them a call to greatness, a call to adventure, and a call to honor. And this is incumbent upon the elder men to go and live that way and be that man, so that the young men in their world want to be that.
And it has the possibility of being stronger than before, because it would be completely chosen, because it would be a lot more deliberate than before. Imagine you were raised religiously. Imagine what you call there the Holy Spirit, or the honor you feel in all that, but it's given to you. Okay, so it's not like it's an outside thing that you accept and you go through it in a way. But imagine you can discard all that and then you come up with your own system of, like you did with honor, you know, and it's fully conscious and it's fully deliberate. There's a lot more power in that than if it's just given to you, you know, and you got to follow the rules. And if it comes from an internal thing instead of an external thing. So with the tragedy of things like battle not being given, adventure not given, beauty to rescue not given, you know, we do have the liberty to create it all. And with liberty comes the possibility that all of that is even more powerful because you choose it. It's like if you, instead of your family that's given to you, a family of choice, those ties have the possibility of being a lot stronger, you know, than the one you're born into, so to speak. So I think, yeah, it's great. It's not easy for men. It's worse for women. But we live also in a time of for me, the greatest opportunity. You know, if you can step up.
I just want to, I want to accept what you're saying, and I see what you're saying. And yes, we have great opportunity. There's great power in being fully at choice there. But it's still a great tragedy. And you can be, there's immense power, and you can be fully in choice in that other world. You didn't come from like a really religious world like that. The world I grew up in was beautiful. It was powerful. Men had sacred connection, the kind that I've not yet found in any kind of secular arena where guys make it up themselves. They're trying to make up tribe, trying to make up brotherhood, trying to make up honor. It's incredibly powerful inside of certain traditions and religions and all of this. And I mean, at one point, you know, the religion was invented too, right? A few centuries ago. So it is an opportunity, but
To create our own
I
traditions.
I don't want to say that this is better than. There's a great tragedy in it, and the grief and the missing that many men feel is valid. You know, that it's missing, and in a ways it's tragedy that we have to fight for it on our own. You know, that we don't have brothers calling out to us, that we don't have a way of honor called to us. And at the same time, it's a great opportunity and it's a great responsibility to say, okay, in the face of not being given it, in the face of not having it, I'm going to go find it. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to provide it.
I think it's the greatest battle of all time. It's the fight of our lives, and I think it's a fantastic one. And yes, with time, I mean, traditions have to be formed, you know. So it will require time and generations, but I think that's beautiful, you know. That's a great battle for us to fight. I see.
Yes. And so anyway, if men don't have it, they have to fight for it.
Yes.
And if they don't fight for it, for having their own adventure, their own call to honor, their own battles to fight that are bigger than their relationship, then the battles they're going to be fighting are their woman coming to them and complaining.
Fuck, I gotta
and resenting that he's not being a greater man and trying to just deal with less of her complaints. And it's not her fault. It's his that he's not going for something far greater.
Well, it's not his fault either, but he sure holds the key to change it around, you know?
Yes.
I mean, if your battle is, like you said, if your battle is how to deal with your woman, something's off, you know? If your adventure is that 1 year vacation to a resort, you find yourself at the buffet or in the souvenir shop, you know, instead of being on a place where there's a little danger and you go, what the fuck is happening here? Something is off.
Imagine going back in time to meet with your warrior ancestor elders, right? Who've been on the battlefield, and you tell them about your adventure, right? You tell them about your battles, going into the air-conditioned office, sitting down in a swivel chair that's any size you want, that's cushioned, and you had the worldwide internet on the multiple screens. You can call anyone. Like imagine you tell them your battle is like, sometimes I get low energy during the day.
My nagging boss,
right,
right.
Right.
Or the one in the cubicle next to me.
The nagging boss who pays you thousands of dollars a month, right, to just sit on your ass.
What a battle and adventure.
Right. And you tell them of your adventure, you know, and 2 weeks going into the souvenir shop, you know, and you're in a resort hotel.
You should have seen the buffet.
Where the fish is caught for you.
Yes.
Where everything's provided.
Fuck.
You know, that's your adventure.
In Zanzibar. Yes. So yeah,
it's. I don't want to diminish the tragedy because it's a tragedy. You know, it is sad. The missing is real, and the more that we connect to the missing, the emptiness, the loneliness.
Yes.
That is the call.
That's the battle.
That is the call.
That's the adventure.
To go and make the adventure.
That's right.
So.
And brotherhood, if you're that kind of guy who feels like that call and wants to answer it, that's why we are here for.
Yes.
You know, those are the men we call out to. That's what we want.
We're here in the wilderness, in a clearing in the wilderness, in Brazil, banging on our drum. From before the sun comes up, boom, boom, boom. Do you hear it? Do you hear the drum beat like a heartbeat?
Neo, we know you're out there.
Face out of my people's face.
You are the one.
I'll deal with you later.
I'll see you tomorrow.